Hello, everyone. It is Tuesday, the 21st of January, 2025. And yesterday, of course, was a big, huge day for so many reasons. But one of them, obviously, being the Trump inauguration and everything that has happened before and since. And so I'm just giving updates on that before we get into more corrupt government stuff. But again, this all relates, right? And so Biden, of course, just before Trump gets inaugurated, he again more pardons this time for his family. And at least with Trump, he did not pardon his family when he was in office. And so again, this just shows you how disgusting and criminal these people are and were. He's pardoning his family. He also pardoned Milley and Fauci and Cheney. It's just so disgusting. And yeah, and these people are actual criminals that are never going to be held accountable for things they did to people all over the friggin' world. It's so frustrating. So anyways, that happened. Trump, he didn't swear the Bible. People are talking about that. One of the theories is that possibly he swore his oath or officially became inaugurated prior to coming out and doing it live for the masses. So if that's the case, and it's been done before in the past, always at exactly 12, that just became a thing in more recent American history. But so it's not unheard of, for example, even at 11 or 11:30 a.m. for presidents to be officially inaugurated and then start their term. And so if Trump did that prior to, then it might mean that Biden's last minute pardons, preemptive pardons, would be void. And so that's very interesting to consider. Already today, it's been confirmed that there are hundreds, if not over 1,000, pardoned January 6th victims, I would say, victims of the system, again, from corrupted government, people from within that were staging and planning events in order to paint people as radical extremists and again, even inciting violence from within and breaking windows and pushing people in and or even escorting people in and around. And again, with the crisis actors also dressed as law enforcement types, very easily identifiable that they were not, in fact, official law enforcement. I shared that in previous videos. And so this, again, I think is why Nancy Pelosi, because she knew that there were a lot of people from plants and honeypots and disruptors from government within it, including the crisis actors. And so they didn't want there to be even more blue on blue or get discovered, right? Because even the pipe bomb, again, this was a staged and planned event from within. And this is well known now. And we know that with the Freedom Convoy, which happened just a little year after that, people from within our government were trying to do the same thing. Because like I said before, we, for some reason, mimic what Americans do shortly thereafter they do it, right? Just to see if it lands. And so even with what's going on with Justin Trudeau resigning like a little coward because he's going to be voted out this month, and Canadians able to heal and repair finally. Like he instead he just he ran away, and the people that are running for the Liberal Party leaders, they are again just part of the same fucking incestuous group that has been destroying Canada and Canadians' lives now for years, and it's so frustrating. So even if you look at all the Canadians that have left in the last, I would say 9 years, but especially in the last 5 years, it's appalling. And these were like middle to upper middle class families that were able to get out because they had the assets in order to do that, the means, the capability to do that. And I was looking at doing that as well, like leaving Canada, fleeing my country because of the tyranny and this just like the societal destruction that we've been going through, and still pushing an agenda, a woke agenda that again is just harming more Canadians and causing more mental illnesses. And again, MAIDs increased significantly within Canada. This is stuff I've been talking about for years. And yeah, and so if they actually care the impact that they've had on Canadians and looked at these stats, the excessive deaths, the depressions, the addiction going up, the overdoses going up, like the economy tanking still, and these jobs they're talking about that have been created, it's a small percentage in the private sector. Like these are government jobs, more again pushing agendas that are not helping Canadians at all. Again, and there's people from other countries, it doesn't matter where they're from, but people from other countries that are exploiting our resources and our personnel for their own profit and gain, while again we are being impacted. And people from within cabinet right now, they are not getting it. They don't get it. And yeah, and they think that Canadians like are the one, anyone that's going against what these people are spewing, they think that we're the enemy. So much lawfare, and yeah, so I'll share Viva Frey talking about Karina Gould and American politics and stuff like that. Actually, before I do that, I still wanted to talk about the inauguration. He mentioned there's only two genders. He especially today he signed a bill to pull American funding from WEF. Actually, is it WEF or the World Health Organization? Just one second. I did turn on my Instagram for you, just to show you him on the record doing it.
Those alone account for about 6% of global. Dang it. I'm so cold, my balls froze to my thigh.
Sorry, my feed is just loading. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. This is from Ryan Paul. If there was ever any doubt as to who bears responsibility for the COVID pandemic, Biden's pardon of Fauci forever seals the deal. Yeah. As chairman of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, I will not rest until the entire truth of the cover-up is exposed. Fauci's pardon will only serve as an accelerant to pierce the veil of deception. Ignominious. Anthony Fauci will go down in history as the first government scientist to be preemptively pardoned for a crime. And so he's pardoned for federal crimes. He can still be prosecuted for state crimes. Yeah, so then I was just sharing Fauci, Milley, January 6th committee. Oh, and the January 6th committee, they pardoned them too. So again, like people are not going to be held accountable for the injustices that they served on their own citizens unlawfully. And the same thing with the Freedom Convoy. And again, preemptive pardons is just disgusting. Like you guys were pushing your own form of justice now for years, and now that we want justice again peacefully, you guys are running away from it like cowards. You're burying the evidence, and then again, it's just rules for thee, not for me. This is Bill Gates talking about cows. He's a fucking kid. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, so methane from cows is part of the natural carbon cycle. It is not newly created CO2 contributing to climate change. Historically, bison, elk, and other wildlife produced 86% of today's emissions long before humans industrialized. And he goes on from there. But again, Bill Gates, not an expert, not a scientist, possibly a pedophile. So, and how many times was he on the list? Come on, guys. Yeah, so this is DC Drano saying that Fauci can still be prosecuted under state law. As mentioned, hundreds of January 6th political prisoners are being freed from federal prison. Release is currently happening across the country. When I asked a DOJ insider how many J6 prisoners will be released, they've responded with one word, all. Again, this is so uplifting. Okay, so this is what I want you to see. The World Health Organization. Okay, so I misspoke before. I knew it. Okay.
Ooh. So we paid $500 million to World Health when I was here, and I terminated it. China with 1.4 billion people. We have 350 depending. Yeah, nobody knows what we have because so many people came in illegally. But let's say we have 325. They had 1.4 billion. They were paying 39 million. We were paying 500 million. It seemed a little unfair to me.
Yeah.
So that wasn't what I dropped out. They offered me to come back for 39 million. In theory, it should be less than that, you know. And when Biden came back, they came back for 500 million. He knew that you could have come back for 39 million. They wanted us back so badly, so we'll see what happens.
Mr. President,
Pretty sad to think of it. China pays 39 million, and we pay.
And Bill Gates also heavy donators to the World Health Organization. So that should also tell you something. All right, so I can share some videos on that. Okay, so what else about the inauguration? So people being pardoned, people being preemptively pardoned, Trump slamming the old government and talking about January 20th, 2025 being Liberation Day. Again, like I'm still like people still need to address. Then he talked about going to Mars. So again, he was doing so good on so many points about not going to wars, especially ones that only profit the military pharmaceutical industrial complex, tech complex. But and then Elon Musk, they're like woo, we're not going to Mars, guys. Like, it's cymatics. These are luminaries. They're anyway, it's exhausting. And so even with like the advanced laser technologies, like this is all close hold advanced technologies that are being that are advanced and have been for many years. And it's people like Raytheon and Lockheed Martin and NASA, like these institutions that again, they have it's very close hold information, and they're lying to us about so many things. And again, we put so much money into that as well. So what Trump should possibly be doing is also defunding NASA, and or at least telling the truth about the reality of the world. And if he's going to talk about space, he could talk about space within the dome, right? Because we don't know how big it is yet. But there's people that have approximated that, again, even with the sun and the moon, possibly like over 3,000 miles from us. And so, and then we've got the line, which is like between like 60 and 80 kilometers, you know, which they classify or delineate as like the boundary of space and outer space. Anyways, and so it's all over the place, but yeah, they do need to protect their own airspace. But again, it's not going to be fighting aliens from other planets. It's not real. And any aliens, I will reiterate, any aliens would be humans that have been possibly genetically modified, eugenics and all that stuff included, and using advanced technologies and holograms and projections and these advanced technologies, land, air, and sea crafts, and then people possibly want costumes and prosthetics as well, right? And so, anyway, so there are concerns with Trump being in power. If Elon Musk and other people that are part of like the space programs, if they were honest and more aware of the reality of the earth, and maybe, anyways. So I do want to share this. I haven't watched it yet. It's on transhumanism. NASA bombshell 2025 set for massive depopulation. I just want to hear what you say. Oh.
NASA documents reveal decades of high-level preparation for a mass extinction event set to begin in 2025. But this isn't just about wiping out humanity, it's about replacing us. Cyborgs, bots, and transhumanism are at the core of the global agenda,
AI.
One that ties directly to the elite's obsession with depopulation. The goal? To plug humanity into a matrix, uploading consciousness to a digital cloud, where reality as we know it is a simulation, controlled and manipulated. The Matrix wasn't just a movie, it was predictive programming. And according to NASA documents, it's about to become our new reality. What's even more disturbing? Many of the steps outlined in their plans have already happened. The clock is ticking and the evidence is mounting. Are you ready to break free from the illusion? Before we dive in, join the People's Voice Locals community if you haven't already, and sign up to become a member of technologies and the convergence of a digital world with the human body. Biotechnology is literally the science of turning technology into new life forms and turning natural life forms into new technologies. While transhumanism is often described as a merger of man with machine, in reality, it's the
bio-digital convergence. I've talked about this in videos before.
Of the human species and all biological life forms. In a leaked presentation from NASA titled Future Strategic Issues, Future Warfare circa 2025, NASA presents a plan for the extinction of humanity that includes the emergence of cyborgs and virtual humans. Slide 2 is clearly titled The Bots, Borgs and Humans Welcome You to 2025 AD, revealing the elite's plan to relegate humans to a minority stake on Earth, living in a simulation, with bots and cyborgs performing most of the work for the elite class of humans who are allowed to survive the mass depopulation events. The Matrix wasn't just a movie, it was predictive programming, and humanity is being encouraged to accept its fate.
I was having dinner at a friend's house, this director, and he had some kids, and there was like a 13-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 17-year-old, and they hadn't seen the film Matrix. And so the director's like, well, why don't you just tell them what it's about? So I started to say, well, there's this guy who's in a kind of virtual world, and he finds out that there's a real world, and he's really questioning what's real and not real, and he really wants to know what's real. And the young girl was like, why? And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, who cares if it's real? And I was like, what, you don't care if it's real? And she was like, no.
Isn't that wild?
awesome.
This is a war on humanity, and NASA confirms it's being coordinated by DARPA, US national security agencies, including the FBI and CIA, as well as the US Air Force and other military departments, and the Australian DoD. There can be no doubt this presentation is an extinction plan for humanity via transhumanism. In case you want to give NASA the benefit of the doubt, the presentation describes humans as a type of pestilence on spaceship Earth. To those who have been following closely, this might come as a shock. But describing humanity as a plague or pestilence upon the earth is an obsession of the elite. In a January 2021 investor presentation, BioNTech, Pfizer's mRNA partner, also went as far as describing the human species as a disease plaguing the planet. And of course, King Charles's father, Philip, famously said he wanted to be reincarnated as a deadly virus to reduce the global population.
That was said.
What do you see as the biggest challenges in conservation?
The growing human population. Where we are, there's nothing else.
And do you have views about what should be done about that?
Not a guess.
According to the NASA presentation, the end goal in 2025 is to have the vast majority of humans existing in virtual form. The ultimate goal of the global elite's collaboration to exterminate the human species and upload human consciousness to a digital cloud is confirmed by an educational video from the China National Gene Bank. This disturbing video promotes the idea of everlasting life through a combination of extreme depopulation and the digitization of all living beings.
Gene is the foundation of all creatures to survive and prosper. Start with the most primeval life format. It passes through hundreds of millions of creatures, painting the grand picture of life history. Gene lives in the thriving of life and imprints the extinction of species. Only those that have survived massive natural catastrophes are still around us. The rise of human beings has speeded up the extinction of species. The rise of human beings has speeded up the extinction of species. The rise of human beings has speeded up the extinction of species. Digitization of life will ensure the sustainable development of human beings. Digitization of life will ensure the sustainable development of human beings. Digitization of life will ensure the sustainable development of human beings. It guarantees the continuation of life. It lasts forever, for the eternal life.
The globalist ghouls are not even trying to hide their plans anymore. Working in lockstep with the Chinese dystopian gene bank, Klaus Schwab is openly calling for digitization of our brains so they can be plugged into the matrix.
I just would like to highlight what you said about the European Chips Act, because it's an important step to create the physical brain for digitalization.
The NASA documents
Oh my
expose
God, it reminds me of persons of interest. And whoever wrote that CIA was definitely involved in the writing of those scripts. Again, there's a lot of accuracy to that show. And even if you want to look at the behavioral analysis and the human experiments that are still being done to this day, I know how freaking crazy this sounds. Look at Lost, and then even the electromagnetic radiated technologies and equipment. There's just so much. I don't want to ruin it for you if you haven't watched it, but again, there's so much truth to that. These friggin' series.
that much of
So
the
you
globalist
know that there's some kind of anyway.
plans is already unfolding right before our eyes. Time is running out, and the proof is everywhere. The real question is, are you prepared to wake up and take back control? Today's sponsor is pillsforever.com. If you think Big Pharma have your best interests at heart, think again. Under Biden, the price of medicine in America has skyrocketed, and there are certain medicines Big Pharma don't want you to know about. That's why I've partnered with pillsforever.com. All of their FDA-approved medicines are the cheapest you'll find anywhere. More importantly, you can order medicines that Big Pharma don't want you to have, such as Survivor, thanks to fenbendazole.
2 years ago, Joe Tippin says he was told to go home, call hospice, and say his goodbyes. The doctors were unanimous. He was going to die of small cell lung cancer.
Once that kind of cancer goes that far afield, the odds of survival are less than 1%, and the median life expectancy is 3 months.
Tippin says he got tipped, not from a pharmacist, but a veterinarian. And in his desperation, he turned from people medicine to dog medicine, specifically fenbendazole.
My insurance company spent $1.2 million on me with traditional means before I switched to a $5 a week medicine. That actually saved me.
Get 15% off using coupon code People's Voice at the checkouts. Please click the link below this video or call 256-664. Will be tortured on primetime news. Deborah Tavares has more details about this disturbing NASA presentation.
It was on the NASA website, and it was a document that actually was a PowerPoint presentation by Dennis Bushnell, the chief NASA scientist at the Langley Center.
Oh, actually, maybe not.
And it was presented in 2001, July of 2001, just a few months before 9/11. And what brought my attention to it and immediately rang some uncomfortable realizations was when we first came across it. It says on the website, future strategic issues, future warfare circa 2025. And as I decided to just flip through it quickly to see what it was about, I was a little stunned on page 4. It said the presentation is based in all cases upon existing data, trends, analysis technologies, no pixie dust. And the entire premise of the document or the PowerPoint is about robots, cyborgs, and humans.
According to NASA, the global elite consider the human race to be useless, so they're going to exterminate the majority of us and force the remaining minority to live in a simulation. The document clearly states that the global elite, along with government agencies like NASA, will deploy silent weapons in a covert war against humanity in 2025, with the ultimate goal of depopulating the planet.
So who wrote this NASA document, and was this intentional? Did they want the public to see this, do you think? Or?
Well, again, the Illuminati, the most wealthy, rich men on the face of the planet, always telegraph.
The Davos, Bilderberg, Bohemian Grove types?
Everything that they're going
that are part of like the owners of the military pharmaceutical tech industrial complex, like the oil, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman.
Do. So the fact that it was on the NASA website, it was certainly available to the public, but did they see it? Obviously not. Because had they looked at this document, you would know about it right now. And we don't. And that's the purpose of this discussion, is for people to know about this document. Again, the conflict between the future and the fact that they said it was a current reality in 2001 of July when this was actually presented. And what it said, which was quite shocking, on page 93, it said, capture, torture Americans in living color on prime time. And that is an unbelievable statement. Then it's followed up by saying terror attacks within the continental United States using binary biologicals take down critical infrastructure. They're going to use an EMP, which is an electromagnetic pulse. They're going to use radiation frequency.
And again, the actually, I'll share it with you. I was asking again. I said, who has the most advanced lasers on Earth? The Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, LLNL, National Ignition Facility, NIF. Los Alamos National Laboratory, high-powered lasers. Defense industry, Lockheed Martin, DEWs. So again, when I talk about DEWs, these are not considered theories. Like, are they enacted in places that, anyway. Northrop Grumman. And by the way, Marco Mendicino, his wife, may still have shares and stocks in Northrop Grumman, who also, it's Ukrainian military company essentially, and they were voting for the war in Ukraine, where billions of dollars of Canadian taxpayers' money was laundered and given to corrupted people within government and people that work with government, like Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, CERN, Laser Centrum Hanover, the UK Central Laser Facility, NASA, the European Space Agency, medical research institutions. Anyways, there's the organizations and companies that have the most advanced lasers on Earth include Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory for nuclear fusion and high energy physics, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and Raytheon for advanced defense lasers and directed energy weapons, CERN and Laser Zentrum Hanover for cutting-edge scientific and industrial lasers, NASA and ESA space-based laser communication systems, IPG Photonics and Coherent Inc. for leading innovation in industrial and medical lasers. And look at lasers and how they work with, anyways, and look at the inverse square law. Like scattering and all that other shit. And you'll see that we are not bouncing lasers off of the friggin' moon or the sun. Anyway.
Against our brains, etc. And conduct serious war and collateral damage and exploitation. On the same page 93, they say exploit CNN syndrome. Now, CNN, of course, is the network, the news media network, propaganda machine, and was set up by the CIA. You can watch the movie called War on stopthecrime.net for all the background information on CNN. Very, very interesting information. Then you go on and you read that on page 66, they say increasingly critical are human limitations and human downsides. Humans are too large, humans are too heavy, too tender, humans are too slow, both physically and mentally. And we require huge logistical trains, meaning we cost way too much money to maintain. And humans have rapidly decreasing to negative value. Can you even believe this? I mean, you're hearing this, and it's got to be rather shocking.
And Yuval Harari, who, by the way, is all the freaking weak characteristics that are being defined by her in the summary of human beings, that's him. He wrote books on that, calling humans weak and like sacks of meat, useless, mouth breathers, like, you know, like just bottom feeders basically. And again, like, look at this guy, like, and so clearly he's projecting and don't think very highly of human beings. Like, these people are really unwell.
Coming off of a NASA website.
Really vibrating and accessing their lower level vibrations and emotions, and it's so evident. Like the fact that, like, the way he, like in Sapiens and Homo Deus, again, like, this is all, again, like, yeah, garbage literature. Bashing
particularly when some of the agencies that are involved are the U.S. Air Force, DARPA, CIA, the FBI, Southern Command, Atlantic Command, Australian Department of Defense, and other agencies. This is the corporation's agencies.
How are the elite planning to use NASA and other agencies to wage war on humanity and drastically reduce the global population? The NASA presentation lays out their chilling strategy. What's even more disturbing is that we've already witnessed the deployment of many of these weapons against humanity.
They talk also about, on page 9, this is very interesting and horrifying. Humans have taken over and vastly shortened evolution. They're going to direct evolution. They believe, the bankers, the global elites, believe that they have accomplished immortality. And they're doing that, again, keeping in mind that this entire document is about robots, cyborgs, and humans. They've already mapped our brains. We've just recently heard that they can transfer a human brain into machinery. So whenever they tell us that this is a new scientific discovery, we know it's been decades and decades prior to us ever finding out about these things. And they also talk about microdust, a weapon. They say that this micron-sized mechanized dust, which is distributed as an aerosol and inhaled into the lungs, the dust mechanically bores into the lung tissue and executes various pathological missions. They say it's a completely new type of warfare, and it is legal. It's legal.
We recently exposed the World Economic Forum reports hiding in plain sight that confirms that up to 6 billion people will die in 2025. And according to reports from Davos, Klaus Schwab has confirmed that the stated goal is on target to be achieved. For those who have not seen the video, CIA-linked Deagle documents have long predicted that the United States will see its population decline by 68.5% in the year 2025. Germany is predicted to see its population decline by 65.1% in the year 2025. While other Western countries, including Australia and New Zealand, are also predicted to suffer huge declines in population. As we revealed, Deagle.com isn't just a web.
I don't know about the allegations that WEF was talking about billions of people dying in 2025. Nothing about that came across my radar at all, and so I got to look more into it. I'm not sure that that's correct.
Of one man. It's the work of the globalist elite consisting of the CIA, the Pentagon, the Rockefeller Foundation, and the World Economic Forum. Deagle's work is not a prediction, it's a target. And Klaus Schwab has acknowledged that the elite are on track to hit their goals.
Nobody will be safe if not everybody is vaccinated.
Can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brain? We feel, because you all will have implants.
Just think of sensors planted into our brain.
It doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you if you take a genetic editing.
It's a fusion of the physical, the digital, and the biological world. That's really the essence of the fourth industrial revolution.
Decarbonization of the economy.
Where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
This global reset is necessary.
Oh my God.
Being able to see the globalist plan as clearly as we can see it now, we have an obligation to future generations to resist, denounce, and refuse
He does
any and
talk a lot about the fourth industrial revolution, and that is again open source information unless you're in Canada. So the fourth industrial revolution by Klaus Schwab: ubiquitous mobile supercomputing, intelligent robots, self-driving cars, neurotechnological brain enhancements, genetic editing. The evidence of dramatic change is all around us and is happening at exponential speed. And this is him talking. Founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum. Yeah, he's at the beginning of a revolution that is fundamentally changing the way we live, work, and relate to one another. And he has a book literally on the fourth industrial revolution. And
all implementations of the technocratic agenda. We can win for the simple fact that there are more of us than there are of them. But we have to be vocal about it, and we need to join forces and present a united front. We need to resist and say, I do not comply to everything they try to roll out. Here at the People's Voice, we're determined to continue exposing the elite, but we can't do it by...
but you got to do it peacefully, like he's saying, and speaking out peacefully and rationally. Because, look at people that were not even at the January 6th protests, right? There are people that, again, are getting pardoned today after years. After over 4 years of being in jail, charges, all of this stuff. And so, and even in Canada, there's still people in the courts, so many people because of COVID and the lockdowns and the extreme tyrannical measures that were enforced on people that were speaking out or trying to peacefully protest these the extreme measures, right? For example, going to protests, speaking at protests, but again, being peaceful, not wearing masks, the gathering of more than a certain amount of people, depending on which province that you were in. Yet again, Walmart was open, Costco was open, the liquor stores were open, but the gyms weren't, and things like that. You can go to. Oh my God, it was just ridiculous. Anyway.
ourselves.
So, I mean, again, your life is just going to be ruined, and you're going to be years in the courts because that lawfare is always enacted on people that speak the truth or try to protest peacefully and resist again to tyranny. And so, yeah, it's just not worth it. Voting is effective. I know people don't believe it is, and yes, they are rigged to certain degrees, and a lot of money pushed from different various donors to like the different parties, and it makes them bias on their platforms and what they promote. Anyway.
Subscribe to the channel.
But that's why we need to remove ourselves from the World Health Organization and the World Economic Forum.
The People's Voice Locals community. To support the channel, join our amazing team and gain access to exclusive and uncensored content.
So that was good. I wanted to go back because there was also another one here that I wanted to show about crisis actors. Oh yeah, they're talking about CERN here as well. I thought I did see it. Bear with me. Yeah, smart meters. Yeah, looking at that. Okay, maybe it was before this. But anyway, I share a lot of videos on crisis actors and role players and people that have scripts and honeypots and plants. And again, it's the same thing. I'll find it, but I did want to show the video from Viva Frey anyway, because again, it's like he covers a lot of political points. Yeah, it's this one.
I present to you Karina Gould.
There's a lot going on right now. I understand these past years haven't just been hard, they've been exhausting.
Hard.
The economy, climate change, and what's going on south of the border leave all of us feeling nervous about the future. Right now, Canadians have lost faith in our party, and we have to earn back their trust. We need to rebuild our party so that we can keep building our country. We need new leadership to fight for everyday Canadians. A leader who understands what people are going through and works every day to make their lives better. A leader with a track record of standing up to bullies, and a leader who won't back down.
That's not you.
I'm Karina Gould, and I'm running to be your next leader of the Liberal Party of Canada. There are people out there tearing down Canada, saying the country is broken. Saying we should become American. So to them, let me tell you what Canada is. It's the local hockey rink or soccer pitch where kids shoot for their dreams. It's the maple poutine and beaver tail after playing outside. It's helping your
down the Canadian flag to put the pride flag up.
Neighbors shovel their driveway after a snowstorm. We are a strong, hardworking, and caring people who do not back down from fighting for what is right. Canada can be the best place in the world to start a family, grow a business, and build a future. We are a nation of dreamers and doers, creators and innovators. It's where opportunity, empathy, and progress walk hand in hand. It's time for a new generation of leadership that understands you and is focused on you. I'm here for Canada, today, tomorrow, and for years to come. Join me so that together we can earn the trust of Canadians, build the future we want, and win the next election.
Excuse me.
And her and Mark Mills, they had the ability to remove Justin Trudeau from office years ago, and they failed us. They voted with him. They were pushing the same fucking scripts, all of that stuff. So again, she is not like this is anyway. He's gonna get into it.
LPC.
Oh yeah, and so like also like how many Canadians fled Canada under her leadership? I know so many people personally, right? Like that are not in Canada anymore, that have left in the last 4 or 5 years. Like a lot of people, like and so I can name. Well, there's Viva. That's one thing. He's the guy that's on here right now that I'm sharing. Like he was from Montreal, I believe. And now he's in Florida. Adrian Alexander, like he's pretty popular on social media. He also moved to the US. Josh Bigger, Freedom BDR, he also moved to the US. My God. And again, so many people I know like went to Florida and went to, and I have another friend that went to Texas. And then actually he went to Mexico first. He thought Mexico was better than Canada at that time. And then he went to the US and now he's still in the US, but he went from Texas to Idaho. I know I'm oversharing, but again, I know a lot of people personally that went and left Canada and even Costa Rica. I know a few people that went to Costa Rica and they're living there now. And so these people made these people flee their own countries that they loved, right? Very patriotic Canadians and stuff like that. And we're just getting beat down and lives destroyed and businesses destroyed and stuff like that, middle-class people. And so again, like millions of Canadians have fled Canada under Justin Trudeau's tenure, and like again, hundreds of thousands just in the last couple of years. And she's part of that. So how dare she say that she's working for us?
Don't know stands for the Liberal Party of Canada. Okay, the diarrhea smoothie guy, that's a funny joke, but don't spam because then you'll have to get blocked. So yes, that was a diarrhea smoothie if that's what you're talking about. That's Karina Gould announcing her intention to run for the leadership of the Liberal Party of Canada. The Liberal Party of Canada, which is actually supremely illiberal. And when I say, like the new boss is probably going to be worse than the old boss, I was like, oh, Justin Trudeau, the Wicked Witch is dead. And the new boss, what do we have now? We have a choice of three, it looks like. Chrystia Freeland, Mark Carney, all of their names are totally, totally ironic or fitting. Freeland is her last name. She could not be more of a person for Freeland than you could possibly imagine. Carney, indeed, comes off as a circus carney. And Karina Gould, indeed, looks like a ghoul.
Yep.
Karina Gould announcing that she's running for the leadership of the party. Now, I went a little hard on her yesterday on Twitter, because she's really, really unbelievable. Oh, hold on. I've got to go. Just forever. Diarrhea man is gone. I went a little hard on her yesterday on Twitter because some of you who haven't lived through this with me might not know who she is. Others who've lived through this with me know who she is, but might have forgotten. And then there's others out there who will never forget, who will never forgive, and who will continue to hold something of a line. Karina Gould was one of the idiots in Parliament who welcomed in, I don't want to mention the guy's name because the guy was as much of a victim of their stupidity as we were all victims of their stupidity. The guy, the old man on the bottom, straight up Ukrainian, fought with the Nazis in World War II, was very proud. It was the West, the SS, Luftwaffe, or something along those lines. Literally fought with the Nazis for Ukraine, fought the Soviets. These idiots, because that's Karina Gould there with her, what I described as an SHIT eating grin on her stupid face. They invite the guy on the right here, this guy right here, who looks like he eats children on the weekends, was the Speaker of the House, a liberal dude, who invited this elderly gentleman to give him a standing ovation, to give an introductory speech as to what a hero this man was, because he fought the Russians in World War II. Because now the Russians are our enemies, where they might have been our enemies back in the day, but they were our allies during World War II. The guy didn't really piece together, or maybe he did, that when you fought the Russians in World War II, you were on the axis of evil, Germany Nazi side of things. They invite this guy in. This guy, this douchebag on the right, gives him a just patting on the back, kissing him, applause for an introduction. And then they give him a standing ovation. That's Karina Gould posing with this literal Nazi. Okay, fine. People make mistakes. Karina Gould, in addition to having made that mistake, along with the rest of them, in order to, it was an innocent mistake, and don't politicize the fact that we invited a Nazi into Parliament. After it was done, what did she try to do? They tried to delete it from the record. They tried to delete from official Parliament history, from the record books of Parliament, that they invited in, praised, and gave a standing ovation to a literal Nazi soldier, because it was freaking embarrassing, not just for the Liberals, for all of Canada on the international scale. Listen to this, just to remind you who Karina Gould is, running for leadership of the party right now.
I would like to ask for unanimous consent to adopt the following motion.
Oh, what's the motion?
That notwithstanding any standing order, special order, or usual practice
And that's Christopher Freeland, that's Dominic Bureau, that's Melanie Jolie. These people, again, they are not for Canadians at all. They have proven this, what they were willing to do to us, and still say it's for us.
House, the recognition made by the Speaker of the House of an individual present in the galleries during the joint address to Parliament by His Excellency Volodymyr Zelensky be struck from the appendix of the House of Commons debates of Thursday, September 21st, 2023, and from any House multimedia recording. Thank you, Mr.
Hey, sorry. Hey, you know what, Karina Gould, you have to change your name to Winston Smith because you want to get into the business of memory holding. This is how it's done. We'd like to delete from the record, from official Parliament business, records of government, that we invited a Nazi and saluted him along with Volodymyr Zelensky when they came in to ask for more money for the fight in Ukraine.
Oh, yes, the Honourable. I guess we have to go to the, we'll ask about unanimous consent and go to it.
Unanimous.
All those opposed to the Honourable Ministers moving the motion will please say nay.
Nay, nay.
We don't have unanimous consent.
Get the hell out, Karina. You invite a Nazi into Parliament, then try to strike from parliamentary documents the fact that you invited and applauded a Nazi when you invited him with Volodymyr Zelensky. Don't put two and two together. And now she's running for the leadership of the Liberal Party. So that wasn't even the least of the offensiveness of that stupid video that she made. Yeah. We're Canadian, eh? Canadian, it's about playing hockey on the local ice rink when they shut them down for COVID. For your freaking tyrant boss. It's about beaver tails and poutine. Oh, you're so Canadian, Karina Gould. That's if you can buy it, if they haven't frozen your bank accounts for participating in God-given rights to protest. If you never watch curling, what you hear is Harry Hard. Oh my goodness, and they have such a devious, insidiously evil smile on their faces. We need new leadership. Canadians are hurting right now. Canadians are hurting because of what you and your filthy tyrant of a boss have done to Canadians, period. So congrats, people. I say, congrats. The new boss is going to be just as bad as the old. Oh, even the German Waffen-SS considered the all-Ukrainian SS-attached groups as too savage. Let that sink in, says the real men. So she's running for parliament. She's running for the leadership of the party. Idiots, buffoons, tyrants. Thy name is the Liberal Party of Canada. Not that the Conservatives were any better, because the Conservatives got up there and gave a standing ovation, having no idea who they were introducing.
Everyone did. Yep.
So they're just idiots. The Liberals are malicious idiots who then want to delete the evidence of their malicious idiocy. So yeah, she's running. Okay. I feel better. Maybe a little bit. Holy cow. So tonight's going to be a fun show because I know that we're going to have, in addition to Diarrhea McSpanface in Rumble, who's gone now, we're going to have people in the chat who cannot get off their, I won't say high horses, but I'm thinking it, who are convinced that they are right, who learn nothing from history, who learn nothing from the present, and then feel justified in their own righteous extrajudicial condemnations. And that's fine. But the vitriol that we're going to see in the trap, maybe I'm just blowing it out of proportion, and maybe I'm going to, maybe our crowd really is. Well, there's going to be some spam. Get ready for it, people. We've got a good show tonight. Before we even get into the show, however,
things going on.
Because we have a sponsor, a formal sponsor, The Wellness Company. And then we're going to get into my own sponsor of myself in a second. The Wellness Company, people. And seeing what's coming now, you're going to appreciate this. Are the globalists gearing up for a pandemic scare after failing at the ballot box in November? Just weeks before President Trump's inauguration, Duty McFace Gavin Newsom declared the bird flu state of emergency, granting himself sweeping powers reminiscent of COVID-19 policies. What a convenient thing also that there's been those devastating fires, and he's signing executive orders that seem to be giving the government even more powers yet again. This comes after a severe case of H5N1 flu was reported in Louisiana. Critics like Nicholas Hulscher warned that pandemic fears may be weaponized to challenge Trump's agenda, including the nomination of RFK Jr. to lead HHS. Oh, we're going to talk about those confirmation hearings. They're beautiful. I cannot wait for RFKs. The real question, though, is there a health crisis or a power play at issue here? Last summer, Dr. Peter McCullough warned about the bird flu, linking the virus's rapid spread to gain-of-function research, now a common practice at many labs globally. McCullough urges early prevention just in case, recommending contagion emergency kit from the wellness company. His medical board approved solution with 5 clinical life-saving medications like ivermectin, Tamiflu, a nebulizer, hydroxychloroquine. Every household can now have access to these hard-to-get medications in the event of another pandemic or plandemic or faux-demic, whatever you want to call it. Get yours today by filling out the digital intake form. Kit arrives in 1 to 2 weeks, so don't wait until the deep state puts in its plans. Get ready now. TWC, that is the wellness company, but if I want to do international code, Tango Whiskey Charlie.health/Viva. The promo code Viva gets you $32 off and free shipping. TWC.health/Viva. US residents only. So Canada, I don't even know if you're allowed to transport those things over the border. So I'm giving no transportation advice and nothing of the sort. And now, before we get going even more, I want to shamelessly plug the fact that Viva Frei, also known as David Frei, which is my true name, is now a published author. Everybody, I present to you Louis the Lobster. This is a kid's book. I wrote it and copyrighted it back in 2012.
Okay.
Yo, you're going viral right now. Really? How? Wait. Here.
So the other day, we seen this freaking bum sweeping in front of the store. So we had no choice. We had to bring him in because he wouldn't freaking leave. We gave him a drink and a slice of pizza that had fallen on the floor. I asked him, why are you sweeping in front of my store? And he said, because I live. He was so happy that I gave him the pizza. He didn't even know it fell on the floor. And he started crying. You know what? We started to like the guy. So instead of just giving him the slice that fell on the floor, I made him a fresh pie to go. Like this video so we could continue to change lives and get these bums off the street. Keep supporting Amano Pizza, guys.
Amano Pizza. I will continue supporting Amano Pizza. And by the way, because I'm an idiot, and I just got the text that apparently when I was doing the when I was reading our sponsor for the evening, it was a video and it's supposed to be playing. And this is the video that is supposed to be playing as I describe the necessity of ordering the emergency contagion kit from the wellness company, because they're going to be doing some strange stuff. And there's your man, Gavin Newsom, the man who has destroyed California through his criminal negligence. And during COVID, acted like a filthy tyrant, locking people down, expanding his own powers. But he was still going out to nice restaurants because it's only the best for them. And now they're going to talk about the H1N1 flu to try to do something similar in Trump's new next presidential 4 years, which is going to be amazing. And they're going to use it as an excuse to try to oppose RFK Jr. during the confirmation hearings. And this is Dr. McCullough, a man who has been pivotal in raising awareness. And this was supposed to be playing the wellness company people. The link is in the description, so go check him out. Now, speaking of confirmation hearings, until Barnes gets it, actually, I got to make sure that Barnes has the link. Barnes, hold on 1 second. You got the link, comma, right? Question mark. Who watched the confirmation hearings last week? I was just, we have our Sunday night Zoom call with our family. Nobody could believe Pam Bondi was 59 years old. And
that's going to be.
Similar took another stage as the government responded to the Roger Ver, Bitcoin Jesus' motion to dismiss. He hopefully will be on the agenda for potential pardons, as are a bunch of other January 6th defendants, despite the efforts of the useless judges of the District of Corruption in their attempt to harass and harangue them right on the eve of the inauguration. Even more reason why Trump should pardon them all, and quicker, sooner rather than later. We've got the TikTok at SCOTUS.
Oh yeah.
What that means, what sort of more wuss decisions by SCOTUS this past week. That was one of several. They turned down some really important petitions for cert, including one that I filed. They just did their usual wuss routine. They did what they do well. They're the kings of the cowards. Are our Supreme Court jurist. We have that on the agenda, and then we've got the Tate brothers making their circle back in the news. There's been all kinds of stories, conflicting stories as to what exactly the courts are doing or not doing. Is somebody seeking extradition? Are they not? And then there's the deep cult-like supporters and the deep cult-like haters who are out and about, busy spreading some various libels and lies, I might add. So we'll be discussing that as they try to project things that aren't actually the case. We've got tax issues on the tariffs and trade issues that are going to come up with the Trump administration. Talk about some of those executive orders. This is going to be a busy week. And whether or not the president put off the inauguration being outdoors, because there are rumors and ruminations about whether or not there are various assassination plots afoot as we speak. So tomorrow's an eventful day. I believe it's Martin Luther King Day in honor of Martin Luther King as well. Inauguration and the beginning of a whole new administration. And we had last week's various nomination battles that started last week. They'll continue into this week and the next week. So a lot of big political news and legal news as we go forward to a whole new administration, a whole new year, and hopefully
a whole new era, Robert.
Whole new era, exactly.
Okay, so we'll start off with the TikTok. Supreme Court comes out and says, I mean, we talked about it on Friday with the Hunley and the gang, the laid back law. I haven't read the decision, got the idea, the gist of it, and I mean, they basically said, the First Amendment rights nil, that this was within the powers of the legislative branch, and that it's I mean, they got around the bill of attainder because you're drinking Amos Miller's milk, aren't you?
That's exactly right. The best milk in the world. AmosMillerOrganicFarm.com. AmosMillerOrganicFarm.com.
I say full disclosure, I hate TikTok. I do actually think it's a tool of social manipulation as much as every other social media platform is, and their algorithms, and I think they're gathering information as much as I think YouTube and Facebook are as well. No, and then selling that to China as well. I loathe TikTok, but did not support this ban from the beginning. So no one's going to call me a hypocrite. I would have been, just as happy one way or the other. What do you think of the Supreme Court's decision? Like, does this
lousy decision, lazy decision by lazy jurists? So it is sad and pitiful how predictable the left has become on the bench. That this past year, other than actually Jackson in a few cases, Sotomayor maybe once or twice, but for the most part, Democratic judges now just vote according to whoever the Democratic partisans want. So here, because this was a Biden and Democratic congressional initiative, a Biden initiative, and even Biden made a big deal about trying to pretend he's Eisenhower, warning about the military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
So in his delusion, he goes, but he's either Eisenhower or he's Kennedy. You don't know which one he is on any given day.
I do want to share just like some more things from my Instagram, because I kind of already talked about that, what they're talking about still. Here we go. Just more announcements. New Trump announces he will reinstate service members who were wrongly expelled for refusing the COVID vaccine with back pay. This week, I will reinstate any service members who were unjustly expelled from our military for objecting to the COVID vaccine mandate with full back pay. So again, this is great news. I don't know how many will actually accept that because of the organizational betrayal piece and all that stuff, but it's a good incentive to have back pay to get them back in, because again, these were the people that you want to have in, people that were willing to refuse unlawful orders and hold the line, okay, so that there was more research that could be conducted and more information, medical, scientific, and government data that was censored finally to get released, so people can actually have more informed consent and realize what they're actually doing. On January 20th, the Trump White House will advise all U.S. water systems to remove fluoride from public water. Fluoride is an industrial waste associated with arthritis, bone fractures, bone cancer, IQ loss, neurodevelopmental disorders. Wow, that was hard. And thyroid diseases. And so that's from RFKJ. And then here's what I wanted to point out too about the TikTok ban. So this is from Riley Gaines. Here's a map showing Chinese-owned farmland conveniently located near 19 U.S. military bases. But yes, please tell me more about how banning TikTok is because we have a government deeply committed to protecting our national security. That's actually pretty funny. And so, and again, I don't have TikTok. I did want to get into the crisis actors because I did find the video. Again, I haven't seen this yet, but again, I've shared a lot of videos on duping delight and role players and crisis actors that have been used in so many different false flag and staged and planned events for generations. Nope.
Do not fall for this.
Oh yeah.
Watch closely.
I'm telling you, I'm getting the f*** off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the f*** off, Watch your hands.
Believe it, or they cannot believe it.
That is a satanic hand symbol. And it comes from the Baphomet. This woman is a paid actor. When they do things like this, they have to slip a little bit of truth in there, like this satanic hand symbol. The Bible says, which ye have spoken in the ear in the closets shall be proclaimed upon the housetops. In other words, whatever they speak about in secret must be shouted from the rooftops.
Yeah, again.
And this entire thing is part of an agenda to condition you to believe that there's aliens. This is because they are planning a fake alien invasion to fool the masses. They are working closely with demons and Satan.
I don't believe that.
Because aliens are nothing more than...
Again, I don't believe in aliens, but I also don't believe in angels and demons. I believe human beings have the capacity to be good or evil, and it depends on what we do within our own lives and our perception of reality. And again, doing our best within our own selves to access our higher emotions and higher levels of consciousness, things like love and empathy and compassion and courage and strength and stuff like that, and not resentment and anger and fear and the 7 deadly sins, essentially.
Demons. Look what it says here in Zechariah. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll.
Like when people say they were possessed, or like, no, you are just not a good human being, and you're too weak in order to stop and resist the shit that you do.
And he said the length of it is 20 cubits. That's like 30 feet long. And look what it says here. This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. So we know UFOs are a curse. And look what it says here. He was asking what he saw. He said, what is it? And he said, this is an ephah that goeth forth. This is an ephah. Looks pretty familiar, doesn't it? And look, this is talking about the UFO atmosphere.
All right, so not what I was expecting, but still very interesting. So I'll go and share with you my content that I've done on Rumble regarding crisis actors. And so this is from over a year ago. World War II crisis actors, flat earth, gravity explained. Anyways, again, in here I'm talking about crisis actors. Israel-Palestine false flags, crisis actors, media propagandists. Again, this was around October or early November of 2023. Let me see when I posted this. Yeah, October 26, 2023. Not this past one, the one before that. I don't know why they don't put the years yet. Brussels bombings hoax, a lot of crisis actors exposed. Crisis actors at all major events. Like I'm literally, like I have so many videos on this. I wasn't lying. 9/11 controlled demolitions, explosive CGI crisis actors. Yeah, and so there's more. And yeah, so look at my videos. I'm going to get into, because I've talked about like these different bio-digital convergence and these AI cybersecurity companies that we need to like look more into, like this is like mass overreach, like digital surveillance, like just mass surveillance, and it's all linked again to anyways, we have to look more into Oz. We need to look more into Oracle and Palantir and these organizations. Pegasus, I don't know if I already mentioned Oracle, but anyway, I've talked about Palantir a lot, and so I just want to hear, there's another video about Lavender, which is part of Palantir, and I want to see what they have to say. So the title is Lavender is a software Palantir built for the Israeli IDF. They were using it to bomb Gaza. So I want to see what they have to say about this.
So you know the story of Lavender, right?
Yeah, but tell the audience so that they know.
Okay,
yeah.
so Lavender is a software that Palantir helped build for the Israeli IDF.
Right.
And when the effort, I won't even describe what it is, but whatever is going on in Gaza started. So after October 7th and the Israeli IDF moved into the Gaza area, they were using Lavender to bomb. And what was explained was that if the software picked the targets, then no personnel in the Israeli IDF could be legally held accountable if the bombing was in violation of international law.
Oh, wow.
So organizing the software that way completely protects
Right.
the individual officer from any accountability under the law. Okay. And I'm assuming also some feeling of moral responsibility, so it can protect them.
Right, exactly.
And so it can make the process of genociding children much easier. Now, there's a very interesting video that we have that it's also in the discussion. We've used it in Money and Markets of someone in Cambridge asking Peter Thiel about this. And he completely does a meltdown because he's beginning to realize he can't, maybe he's not legally responsible, but in the court of popular opinion, he's going to be held accountable. Now,
Right.
why do I tell that story? That story, think of what's happening there as a prototype.
Yeah.
Okay. You can use robots, drones, automated weapons, and this kind of software to do things that would never have been contemplated 10 or 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
I
And-
didn't think about that. Yeah.
Okay, that was pretty interesting. There's other things I wanted to share regarding the IPCC Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Again, like these are people that are the main contributors of, again, this false narrative that we're getting. And so when I wanted to look at the 39 scientists that were, again, part of this, I found it really interesting that I had to go on the Wayback Machine in order to access the list. And then this is from 2021. And I had to go back that far in order to get the full list, because there were 9 names that were left out. So, and I was wondering why. So Zinta Zamers, co-writing team from Latvia. Anyways, Mercedes Bustamante, Brazil, University of Brasilia. El Ghizuli Idris Ismail, Sudan. Canada, we've got Gregory Flato. Environment and Climate Change Canada, Canadian Centre for Climate Modelling and Analysis. We've got Australia National University, Mark Howden. We've got Mesa Rojas, Australian National University, University of Chile. Mesa Rojas, Electric Power Research Institute, Stephen Rose. Open École des Mines de Paris, Yamina Saheb, El Colegio de la Frontera Norte, Sanchez Rodriguez, and then you got Kun Zhao, Beijing Normal University in China. So just to show you that if you go forward, my internet is so slow. There. Nope. Let me go more recent. Okay, so there you go. So yeah, there's missing 9 names. So even on the Wayback Machine, like you have to go back further when you want to access information, even if you want to get if you want to get it. And again, I was trying to open up some tabs before, and I'm on a VPN, but I had to connect outside of Canada in order to access some information as well. And so it's just quite strange. But anyway, I think on that note, I will leave it at that. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of your day.